Hello. What's going on? Another month, another work review stream. Oh man, it is hot, guys. I don't know how hot it is wherever you are in the world. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the chat. Over here, I have a thermometer and it says that it's 33 degrees in my room, Celsius. So I'm sweating like a pig. But anyways, welcome to this month's monthly review stream. For those who are tuning in for the first time, I do this once a month, and I basically review the work of my community members right over here. I open this thread near the end of the month so that I can check out what you guys have been working on for the month, and we can just watch it together. So, yeah, it looks like there's already a few people already in here, which is sweet. We have, I'm terrible with names as usual. Henika Lucas, welcome in. We got Psycho Netty Creates. We got Origin Graphics. Origin Graphics? Yeah. And we got Vandal saying hi as well. Just trying to catch up with chat over here. What do I think about the FX5? Love it, can't afford it, so I'm just going to cry. Same here. We can cry together. I love the specs on the FX5 that I've seen so far. A lot of the stuff that I've seen online have mostly just been non-scientific reviews or like little travel films that they shot with it, and the image quality looks beautiful. I really liked how there's internal RAW that you can record as well. I shoot on the FX nothing, A7S III actually. Same sensor as the FX3, so it's nice to know that there's another level up now. They finally released something. Psycho is asking for the server link. I have a button that I just worked on. There we go. Oh my god. It hit enter for me as well. Nice. So, yeah, if it's your first time here and you haven't tuned into a monthly stream before, as I said, I do this once a month, and you can submit your work. You will usually close it before I start stream, but I usually give like a little bit of time. I'll give like 10 or 15 minutes in case people are like, any viewers are trickling in and they want their work reviewed. So I'm going to give about 10 minutes. Just make sure that you read the rules, please, before you post. So that, yeah, there's some context and I know what you want to, what kind of feedback you want, basically. And for those who do not know, I do have an online community on Discord. Looks kind of like this. It's absolutely free to join. And it's free to have your work reviewed as well once a month. There is a paid side as well over here for Kaizen members. You can find out a little more about that on my Patreon, but basically they're pro lessons that I share and create once a month. And I release 3 new lessons every month, and they rotate out at the beginning of the month. So tomorrow is August 1st, I believe. So the lessons that are in right here, you will never see them again, and I will replace them with new ones. So how it works. But yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you want to get more feedback, more direct contact with me, you can check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna let a couple people submit their work. So last time we had 16 submissions. It was kind of insane. I don't remember how long the stream was, but it was long. So this time around I only opened up the submission channel window of time that you can submit for like 3 days or so, and now there's only like 6 submissions, so that's why I'm gonna be a little lenient and let people who are trickling in and want their work reviewed right now, and they're joining the stream, to go ahead and do so. Vandal says, love your work. Thank you. Henika says, from Madagascar at 6 a.m. Jeez, that is early. Can't believe you're tuning in this early. I can't imagine tuning into any live stream at 6 a.m., let alone be awake. Yeah, Open Gate. That I honestly am not that excited about, just because I'm not much of a vertical shooter. I hear that's pretty helpful if you're like a hybrid shooter in the sense of like creating horizontal content and vertical content. I personally don't care much about that, but I know some people are really excited about that feature, and that, it's about time that they released an Open Gate camera. You got the old A7 III. Hey, so do I. It's like over there. I would bring it in, but I don't want to take off my earphones. But right now I'm shooting on the A7S III. I got three Sony cameras actually. And I guess it says haven't slept. Oh, I haven't slept yet. Editors don't sleep. It's true. It's true. I was once like that. Now I need sleep because I'm getting old. My body is weary. It has been battered and just beaten by all the editing that I have done. Yeah, anyone else that is tuning in right now and watching, drop a little hello in chat. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching. I see that we've got a few familiar members that have submitted their work in the past. It's nice to see that they're consistently submitting their work. It's pretty sweet. Got one new post. Boom, Psycho Netty. Yeah, you're in chat, so you will get to see me review it live. And there are a lot of people who will tune in afterwards as well, because I know that a lot of members and a lot of viewers are in different parts of the world. Seneca is, they're 6 a.m. in Madagascar, so some people can't wake up that early, or they don't stay up that late, and they tune in afterwards. And it's been nice hearing that people have been finding my feedback useful, even though I'm just basically sharing my loose thoughts. So always take what I say with a grain of salt. It's just my perspective. And as always, to keep things fair, I usually follow this sort of guideline where I just point out one thing that I think is working in whatever that I'm reviewing, and one thing I would love to see you try next time. But usually, like, during the video, I'll just kind of like ramble on and talk about whatever's just pops into my head. But yeah, so we're getting close, I think, to the time. Actually, no, I think we can probably chat a little bit for like 5 more minutes before I start, especially considering, as I said, there's not as many submissions as last time. I can answer some small questions, but I won't take any that are too long. We got iMat Design. What's going on? Just a question. How do you deal with editing burnout? I cry. I eat comfort food. I complain to my girlfriend. I do all the unhealthy stuff. But in all seriousness, I think that's something that is something, how would I say it? It's a situation I always continue to work on. I think I'm better at it than I used to be. And I think there's a few strategies that may help people, like just making sure that you're setting realistic deadlines for yourself. Because one way that I used to burn out is just being overambitious. I mean, I still am, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I've got 2 weeks to do like 2 months worth of work. Like, you're going to be editing around the clock. You're going to be staying up at 6 a.m. because editors don't sleep and running on fumes. And that's a quick way to burn out, because obviously you're not taking care of your body. Another thing I think is making sure that you are creating work that you're genuinely excited about. I think it's really easy to fall into a trap of creating within the boundaries of what will perform well, or maybe it's just like what your client wants. So you're just hacking away at, projects that you don't really care about. And then eventually you're like, well, why are you even doing this anymore? That's basically where I was a little while ago. And then, yeah, now I don't feel as burnt out. Very lucky that this is kind of where my headspace is. I don't know if that's a satisfying answer, but that is my answer right now. Psycho Nanny says 4 a.m. here. Dang, all of you are tuning in so late. I can't sleep past like midnight anymore. It's crazy. I used to be a night owl, and then I guess my sleep cycle it's become like a bear. You sleep with the sun when it goes down, and then you rise with the sun. Cozy says, my work is on Instagram, unfortunately. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it being on Instagram. Second Lady says, I look forward to this. I need to get better. Nice. Yeah, I'm always happy to hear that people are excited to be tuning into these work reviews. Manal says, would you like to review an AI short film? I mean, I can. I don't discriminate in terms of what creative work you want to submit, as long as it is within the boundaries of these rules. And there aren't a lot of them. Just one submission per member per month, making sure that it's 3 minutes max, because if it's anything longer, I'm just going to like watch the first 3 minutes, or I'm going to start skipping around. Make sure that you tag it for this month. And then be clear about what you want to improve as well. If there's anything like, you know, if you just use this template, basically, like where feedback focus is, what the context of your project is, then totally fine. But let me make sure I'm back on the right tag here. I'm a designer says, Ruben, there's so many times I've got perfectionism problem, which can be such a chore to deal with. Absolutely. We had a member just recently talking about or asking about how to, I guess, get over that perfectionism mindset, and it's tough. I think it's a pretty common phenomena between any creative, really. And there's no simple solution. I think it's pretty nuanced. For me personally, I think it's easier to just, how would I say it? I think it's also an expectation thing, very similar to the burnout. It's just like giving yourself a deadline and knowing that this is the confines that you need to work with. And then let's say that like, you have 2 weeks to edit a video, and then you're like hacking away at it. You're like spending an entire day deciding whether or not this cut works, this one specific cut out of like 200 cuts that you've made in your timeline. Like, it's just not realistic. So at some point you just have to let go of some of those decisions. And I think over time you start building an intuition through experience of like what choices are worth letting go and which ones aren't. But it comes with practice. And I guess says, how did you fix your sleep cycle? I honestly did not intentionally fix it. It just kind of happened. I think maybe it just comes with age, maybe. But there are a few things that I find consistently helps, which is taking magnesium biglycinate. That's been really helpful for staying asleep, so I feel better rested. There are periods of time when I forget to take it, and I'm like, why do I feel like awful after I wake up? That and just avoiding being on your phone for too long. That's a really easy trap that I still fall into. Daniel says it's so annoying when my mid-range PC slows down in the middle of the Blender scene just because I got too ambitious. Yeah, that happens for me in After Effects as well. So I don't know if there's an equivalent in Blender, but pre-rendering my stuff helps a little bit. Got Filmmaker45 in chat. I'm a big fan of your videos, man. At least make a video in every week. Oh, I'm glad you're a big fan, but I don't think you're going to be a fan of me if I were to release a video a week, because the quality would be significantly worse. So that's actually something I've been thinking about, in terms of maybe even making a poll. But then I also, like, how would I say it? I respect my viewers' opinions, of course. I create for you guys, but I also create for myself. So the videos that I make need to be fulfilling and challenging, and it feels like I'm growing as an artist. So I'm very careful about like making polls sometimes, but something I have been thinking about in my head, maybe you guys can let me know what your opinions are in chat, is that would you guys prefer me uploading more frequently if I were to dumb down the quality a little bit? Because all my videos are very highly produced. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. But if I were to share my knowledge or do more videos or try new things and make them a little less effort, I suppose, and were to do it bi-weekly or even weekly, and then maybe do these high effort videos that you usually see on my channel like once every few months, would you guys prefer that? Because I don't really know. From my perspective, I subscribe to a person because they consistently deliver the same quality each time, and that's the bar for me. So if there's a video that's like less than that, I'll be disappointed. So that's my perspective, and that's why I keep taking a little while to like post videos. Usually like once a month is my aim. 5:30 here in Norway. What's your age, bro? I'm gonna keep it a mystery because people don't know, And I think it's fun to get people guessing, especially in the comments. People are just like, damn, you've been editing for like 17 years? You look 17. Like, how's that possible? Or like, you've been like editing in your mom's womb or something. Like, you like given birth and immediately start editing. It's really funny. So, but you know, I leave hints here and there. If you can add up the numbers, you'll know what my age is. But yeah, I think I have left this open for long enough. I'm going to start closing this. If there's anyone who's mid submission right now, like you're literally typing in your post, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I will lock this in the next minute. But yeah, it's great to see how many of you guys are tuning in. Let me know, like, what are you guys working on? Like, what kind of videos do you guys edit? Because I always find it really interesting to know, you know, not only how talented some of my members are who are submitting their work, but also like the type of videos they do. Because I wouldn't have guessed like that's the kind of work you'd be working on. We got Marcus saying, should I get a gimbal for a mirrorless setup or get the new Pocket 4P? Unfortunately, I'm not going to answer any more questions because I need to start this work review and keep it focused. But honestly, I don't think I even have a good answer for that. I think it really depends on what kind of shooter you are and what kind of content you make. But it doesn't sound like anyone is typing in chat when it comes to being mid-submission, so I will be closing this now. There shall be no more submissions. Permissions. And then... I don't even know what I'm looking at. Look for create posts. There we go. So many permissions. Discord is so hard to use. All right, so we're gonna start from the bottom to the top. I hope this is everyone's. Here, I'll do a little refresh. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's everything. All right. First submission, we got Ghost saying, so I've been trying to get clients for Talking Head style YouTube video, and this guy gave me a paid trial for $30. He wanted an Ali Abdaal style, and I edited it in the style, adding a touch of motion graphics. Didn't get the client, but added a strong video for my portfolio. Please highlight the weakness of my trial edit. Honestly, that's the way to go. At least you got a little bit of cash out of it, even if it's a trial edit, because I think more importantly, you already recognize it as well. It's just a strong piece to put in your portfolio so you can use that and pitch it to clients and be like, hey, this is the quality of my work. And I think the more that you have in your portfolio, not quantity wise, but like just more stuff that shows what you're capable of, the easier it is to pitch to clients and that you're worth hiring. So let's check it out.
You've spent hours researching which fancy camera to buy, watched every Charisma on Command video only to sound like a demented girl on camera, and after a year, you've only posted like 3 videos. Well, as someone that went through similar struggles but now has an audience of tens of thousands, now starting this new channel, here's my biggest tip for you. Release your first 10 videos as fast as possible. Starting, of course, with
pretty good so far, I think.
For this, you want to make the process as easy as possible. First, start by picking a problem you know how to solve well.
This is good.
From that, you can write a rough
I like this
your head, and afterwards tidy up.
I want to say like title card, this background.
You can just film using your webcam and use whatever mic you can get close to your mouth. You can start by filming on your webcam with whatever mic you have available. And if you don't have a USB mic like this one, you can use your earphone mic or headset mic. And if you don't have that, just use the voice memo app from your phone and hold it close to your mouth. Then use any screen recorder app like Loom, and then a whiteboard app like Miro, and film yourself walking through how to solve this.
I think the font and the text are working really well, and the icons as well.
By memorizing a line or two from your script, and then look at the camera and of course speak it. I feel like that could be smoother. When doing this, start by memorizing a line or two from your script, then speak it to the camera, and then repeat that process.
Sweet. That was a solid trial edit. We got Avi. What's going on? Avi's a friend of mine. He's a very talented magician and photographer. It's great seeing you, man. But yeah, this is a solid. Hey, this is me. But yeah, this is a solid trial edit. There are things that I like about it. First of all, as I mentioned while we were watching this, I kind of like this motion graphic kind of background thing. You see the talking head, you see this nice bold clean text, and you also see kind of a serif-y handwritten font as well to accent some of the important words. And there's these little, these cutout sticker icon looking things as well, which is very fun.
Whiteboard app.
I think the main thing that bothers me is a bit of the feathering. I don't know if Ali Abdaal does this as well, but usually from what I recall, he'll either have a border or it will just be like a clean cut kind of like mask. Whereas right now this is feathered, like this is feathered as well. And it gives it a less clean look, if that makes sense. So it's not that this looks bad or it's wrong. It's just not the style that is consistent, or how to say it. It's not consistent with the style that I expect for like an Ali Abdaal type of video. So it's just making sure that you are researching and picking out the elements that really make it feel like a typical Ali Abdaal video. And it's like, you don't have to like plagiarize his work. Like maybe this is your own creative spin on it. But for me personally, it just didn't quite work. Otherwise, I thought the icon choices and, the actual motion of the graphics that are happening over here, especially,
Would tidy up the script using AI.
like the little bouncy text, like that's looking solid. So I think this is great. I think this will be a solid portfolio piece to be putting, in your body of work so that you can show it to clients. So yeah, thanks for sharing your work. That was a great first start. What do you guys think in chat? Do you guys agree? Is there anything in there that I may have missed that might help? That was a pretty good submission. But let's move on for now. We got Sun. Sun is a pretty active community member who prolifically creates AMVs. So it is honestly, at this point, no surprise that he is submitting another AMV. Every month after month. Like, I don't think there's a time where I don't see a submission. Filmmaker 45 says, in the middle of the night, my brain tells more ideas about what I create, but in the morning, why not interest or motivation on it? Like the situation you face anytime, also how you overcome. That's a really tough, nuanced question that I unfortunately cannot answer the stream because it is not an Ask Me Anything stream. I just have to keep it focused to the submission and keep it fair. Hopefully you understand, but maybe I'll do an Ask Me Anything at some point in the future. I have said that in the past. I don't know how many people are interested in something like that, but maybe I'll do it when I have a little more free time, because I think it'd be nice to kind of like answer some questions, any burning questions that creatives might have. Don't know how helpful my advice will be though. Psycho says, yeah, really solid. Already learned something from his. Very nice. All right, so back to Sun's submission. This was initially a solo project by a friend of mine that submitted to a contest we were both participating in. It included limited sound effects usage that took from the videos themselves, but I approached her after offering my help with doing a sound effects pass. It was an interesting experience to go back and forth with doing sound design for a quote-unquote client that wasn't myself, though in the end we felt we achieved a good balance. The edit was already good when I volunteered myself on board, but I felt that with more proper sound design, it would make it legendary in a league of its own. Pun intended. Mainly submitting so we can see Herman's live reaction and perhaps nitpick thoughts. Very nice. Okay, so I've actually seen this before. They came to me privately and asked for my feedback on areas to improve, and I kind of gave my thoughts because, Sun has been a great friend, great active community member as well, and I always enjoy his work. So I wanted to see what was going on the sound effects side of things, and it was a really solid video. So I'm excited to actually watch it live on stream and share it with you guys. If there are any League of Legends players in the chat, now is the time to chime in. The Maestro legend. You're talking about yourself, right, Ava? But yeah, let's do this. I also like this song from One OK Rock. It is over 3 minutes, but I will make an exception for this video because I enjoyed it. And I think that watching it in its entirety is the way to enjoy it. Some great immersive sound design already. If you haven't noticed already how meticulous the amount of like sound effects there are and the way that it's mixed and how it's like diegetic, so it's just like if you see like chains moving, you will hear chains, and sound selections have all been really impressive. We got the goat Faker. Some really cool moments where the effects are spilling out of the letterbox as well, giving it the sense of like 3D-ness. Oh, that was good. Bit of a low pass moment over there, so I feel the weight of that hit. Cool little slow-mo montage. There are a lot of amazing mash cuts in this cut. Oh, that feather transition. That's cool. Nice little beat hit. Just imagine the source farming, like looking through all the footage to find shots that will like cut well together. That's the most intimidating part of these type of videos. Champions getting up, they're rising up. Look at that. Look at these shots of their back. And then close-ups of their face. And their eyes. That's great. I love that. I love the way the weapons are coming out from the letterbox here as well. Can't imagine how much time it took to roto all of that. Look at that. There's still more of it. Ribbon's blade. Boom. More roto work. More masking work. Great little comical ending. Really great work. Really enjoyed this video. I've basically already gave them my feedback, so I will not spend the time, but I think the main thing was just very like nitpicky moments from what I recalled when they asked for my feedback. Overall, I thought it was really solid. The thing that I was the most impressed with was really just finding all the shots that mixed well together. There were a lot of like very smooth match cuts when it comes to like the action or even a graphic match cut, where like the eye transition somewhere around here was like crazy. I remember the first time that I saw this. Oh, sweet. And there were some more moments like that as well. I think it was just like on their backs as well while they're facing like the enemies like this. Just makes it very satisfying when you get those match cuts, especially for these type of videos. Like that's where the effort really is, I think. Not only in the roto work and the masking work over here with like, you know, just like little bits like that where it's coming out from the letterbox. That and, you know, the finding those moments in the media to actually like mix well. The amount of patience and dedication makes my videos look bad, you know? We got Nick saying that was cool as heck. Hell yeah, that was cool as hell. We got Rudraksh. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Hello, welcome in to the stream. Cozy Vibes Forever says, I don't have permission to upload. How do I upload my work? Unfortunately, I've closed it already. I've opened it for a few days and then I gave about 10 or 15 minutes in the start of the stream to submit the work for this stream. But there's always next month. I do this once a month, every month, and near the end of the month, I will open up that channel again for people to submit their work. So yeah, keep an eye for that and make sure that you have the review ready roll so that when I make the announcements, it will take you. But yeah, love this video. Great job. Especially the sound. Like I pointed it out in the middle of the video as well. It's just like so much good sound selection. Like they all felt very appropriate for it. Sometimes people will find sounds that are, how would I say it? Like they should be the right sound, but they sound a little off. But like in this case, it felt immersed. Like it felt like I was in the scene. It felt really natural. And for the most part, it felt very like invisible, which is, I think, how good edits should be measured and good sound design. Like it's there to keep you immersed and shouldn't like stand out to the point where it's like, oh, that's a sound effect, you know? And I'm only pointing it out over here because that's kind of the point of this stream, so that I can point out these good moments. Rudraksh has a question, but unfortunately I can't answer this stream. I'm just keeping it focused to reviewing the monthly submissions. But as I said before, maybe I'll do an Ask Me Anything stream in the future. But yeah, hopefully you understand. Let's move on, because we do still have a few submissions. Maybe I'll do an Ask Me Anything like at the end of the stream if it's not longer than an hour and 15. Because last stream I remember it being fairly long. All right, moving on. We got Max Edits. Okay, let's get some context. A friend of mine got into copywriting and made an example script for it in VSL. I'm not sure what that stands for. And I rewrote some parts and made a video out of it with another friend. I did everything basically. So filming, which I did for the first time using 3 lights and a camera. Any tips and feedback on the look are helpful since I was confused by some settings even after watching many tutorials. Scripting, rewriting in this case, and most importantly, me editing. I'll see what kind of feedback I can fit. But something I wondered about that you can specifically answer, should I use more silence? Should there be more motion graphics? Tip I got from the Discord, but in my opinion, I think I use a good amount because I don't have something happening every 2 seconds. Okay. Have I used more than one song? I usually do, but I found this song that was split into a few parts that I wanted for emotion to match that. And everything that was regarding I did the thumbnail. So, okay. So there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try and answer as many as I can, but just for the sake of the stream, I unfortunately can't go through everything. Because remember, for my rules, I'm trying to pick out one thing that I like and one thing that I think you might want to improve on. So I will pick the main thing that I think may improve this video, because it looks like there's a lot of aspects that you want to tackle on. And I will see what might be the best next step. Rax says, by the way, thank you for providing such premium knowledge for free. It's amazing. Of course. I'm glad that people find it amazing and they find it helpful. Hearing that motivates me to keep creating, to keep sharing what I know. Because honestly, like, I wouldn't be where I am without YouTubers and other filmmakers sharing their knowledge. So it's just my way of contributing back to the community. Nick says, good choices with the sound that didn't clash with the music in the mix. Absolutely, yeah. Talking back to the AMV, I agree. We got Mohammed saying, is all that created through Blender or something else? I'm assuming you're talking about the AMV. That was all video game footage, or I think like footage that are like promo videos from Riot and League of Legends that they just cut together. Cozy's asking what day you usually give permission to upload, because I gotta have it on my calendar so I don't miss it. Usually it's near the end of the month. So lately I've only, so like this time I'm streaming on the 31st today, and then I basically opened it up on, I think, the 29th or 28th. So next month in August, if I stream on the 31st, I'll probably open it on the 28th. That's kind of a rough estimate right now, but as long as you have the review ready roll, you will be notified because I'll make an announcement. Anyways, let's check out Max Edit's submission.
If your hand reaches for a cigarette, the second something pisses you off. If you feel that tight. If your hand reaches for a cigarette, the second something pisses you off. If you feel that tight pain in your chest and you realize the pack is empty. If you wake up coughing your lungs before you even say good morning, then you know this isn't just some habit. This is something slowly killing you. And the worst part, you get used to it. The constant tiredness, constant short.
I'm going to tell you the next thing that you'll need to work on, and it will instantly improve the quality of your video. It's not going to be the camera that you shoot on or the script or the light, because it's fine right now for a talking head, especially for one that if it's like you're trying to learn how to do talking heads. But the number one thing is getting a mic, a good quality mic that is close to you so that we can hear your voice quickly, or cleanly, sorry. What I wanted to say was it will quickly improve the quality of your video, because you can watch any video that is like, I could watch this in like 144p. And if the audio quality sounds like you talked into like a professional condenser mic, I can actually get through this video. But even if I watch like the most cinematic quality video on YouTube in terms of the aesthetic and the visual aspect of things, if the voice and the audio is like crushed and it's really hard to make out what you're saying, then it's going to be very hard getting through your video. In this case, I can still make out what you're saying, which is great, but the problem is it feels like it's an on-camera mic and it's very far away from you, so I can hear the reverb from the room, and that instantly feels like it, how would I say it? It brings the quality down a notch. But let's keep watching.
Because your biggest fear isn't cancer, it's who am I without this? That's why you stay in the cycle. That's why you keep
good bold text to highlight those keywords, and also a little motion graphics. So
that nicotine is in your bloodstream, but it's not your fault.
I'm glad that you added that.
It was made and specifically engineered to keep you addicted. That's why you can't imagine a life without cigarette. But I got something to tell you, something important. There is a way out, and it's a lot closer than you think.
Nice.
If you stay with me for the next 10 minutes, I'm
I like the visuals of that, of like the arrow breaking out from the maze.
And the craziest part, you don't need iron willpower.
One small thing though, because we're watching it and it's in my head, I would try and keep the text consistent, like the font. If you are using super bold font like this over here, who am I?
Who am I without this?
It puts a lot of weight and a lot of attention to this text. And then when you do a way out,
that's why you can't stop. It sounds terrifying when
there
is a way out.
It feels like there's less weight on it. And maybe that's the intention, but like the way that it is much thinner and italicized makes it feel like there's less visual coherence. So just a heads up.
It's a lot closer than you think. If you stay with me for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to finally quit smoking for good. And the craziest part, you don't need iron willpower or crazy discipline. You become the person you were before you even lit that first one ever.
Nice little visual break, which is nice in the video, so we have some time to digest.
Your family gets that second-hand smoke from your lungs. You're damaging them, you're leaving them with scars every time you lit up. And you're stealing their health while telling yourself it's just a habit. One day, when your parents, when your family, when your children really need you, will you really be there? Will the years which cigarettes are stealing from you actually be there? There is no returning. Will you be able to have kids at all? That's the last thing you want on it.
Umber says something about the background feels green screeny. It's the flat lighting.
Give you. And if you keep going back,
And I will make a comment about that after this video.
that's something you can never fix. You're never going to get that.
But I'm glad you pointed that out,
back.
because that would be the second thing I work on as well.
There is a way out. If you're
First thing being a mic.
You already know there's an exit. It's time to stop. First of all, you need to understand why smoking is so addictive. Nicotine is unlike other drugs. Nicotine doesn't just hold your body, it holds your brain. It was made to make you.
So far, I think the script is solid.
That's it.
I think
Other drugs, the nicotine doesn't just
it could
like
be.
something goes down. It stays consistent.
How would I say it?
That's why it's so addictive. The trick is not to think about it. Pick a date when you're going to stop and just stay consistent. It can be a day, in weeks, in months.
I like how direct it is,
Stick to it. And it's going to be hard, so I recommend
but it does start feeling lectury, if that makes sense.
tracking and noting apps so you can track your progress, but more importantly, your struggles. You need to switch up your routines, where you would usually smoke. If there's something specific, like going to the bar, find an alternatives. Go for a walk, go with a friend, or order something
That's fun.
else just to break the cycle.
I think it would be this again on the same note of visual consistency. You're using pixel art, and then this, which is not pixel art. So what is the reason? That's my immediate honest thought.
Just to break the cycle, to break the connection.
So I think I would just use like another pixel art that you find that has the same vibe.
That way you don't even
Because I think the thinking is solid. I think it's great that you had those visuals. It's just that small detail that will elevate it.
the end of this video. I know everything I said sounds logical, but the first morning coffee, the lunch at work, the beer in the evening, that's when the real battle begins. But here's the good news. You don't need to go to
It's true.
completely alone. If you
Been having a lot of ice cream.
or helping hand,
It's become a habit.
coaching,
That's not good for me.
something that will interest you, you can go ahead and check out my coaching link in the description. But even if not, don't forget, I believe in you. Stay strong and reach your goals.
Nice. This is a solid video. I don't know how many of these that you've made before, but like I thought you did a great job. As I said, there are a few things to pick out, and I know there's a lot of aspects that you're trying to work on. The first thing, the one thing that, yeah, as I said, that you should take away from this feedback is to just have a nice quality mic closer to the talking person. That will instantly improve it. Like even like I know this is like a garbage trend. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. But you know the trend of people like holding labs to their mouth when labs are meant to be hidden and stuff like that. And now it's to a point where people who are professional are doing that, or clients request doing that, and it's done. But it's a style, and I would much prefer that over just like having an on-camera mic that's far away from the speaker, because as I said, there's all this reverb and it's all echoey, and it's like hard to make out what you're saying a lot of the times. Second thing is the lighting. So that's the second thing I would work on, and lighting is not an easy thing to fix. Lighting is one of those things that, unless you're a dedicated cinematographer, like it's just something that you get better through experience and through continuous learning. But the one thing that you should try and avoid, I mean, you illuminated the background and the subject, which is great. They're not in like completely in the dark or anything like that, but it's lacking a lot of shape and dimension. So if you just did some sort of like simple 3-point lighting, which there is a little bit of that. Like I see a bit of like a hair light happening over here. There's a background light and there's a key. It's just that anytime there's a light that is from the front, I can tell there's one that's like slightly off from the left. If you just look at the shadow, but it's like too fronty. And when it's too fronty, like, I guess I'd have to move my camera to demonstrate, but it starts lacking depth. And the one thing you want to do with videos especially is to create depth. And you can do that by just moving your lights. Like right now, like it looks like it's like shooting from this way. If it was shooting from this way a little bit more, like just angle it a little bit over, it would be instantly better. Also, I can tell that it's a very hard source. So if you look at the shadows, like it's very hard, but it's also because like this pot is really close to the wall. But like this, like these shadows are pretty hard as well. This shadow is quite hard as well. So I know you're using a lot of hard lights, and there's nothing wrong with hard lights. It's just that it may not look very pleasant on people. If you use something like a cheap softbox, like I'm using a softbox right now for this tea light. I forgot that I have this pad that I can just press. And this creates like a softer quality on my face. And it's also slightly at an angle, so there's like a bit of shadow that's like a nice soft roll off sort of. And because this is lit so fronty, there's not a lot of shadow. There's like some shadow underneath. I can tell it's like slightly higher-ish, but even then, like I would just angle it a little more and try and soften it up. And there are a lot of different ways to do it. You can throw a diffusion on there. Might want to use a grid, but there are plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to get pleasant lighting for talking head videos. But overall, I thought you did a solid job, especially since there's so much of your involvement in this video to make it happen. It can show that there's a lot of real effort into making it, and making videos like this is hard. It is deceptively hard. It is not easy to make talking head videos that are instructional and informative. So yeah, props to you. Thank you for submitting your work. I'm not sure if you submitted your work last month. This might be the first time that I saw a submission. But yeah, pretty sweet to see what my members are up to. We got Marwan Ko saying, "You're amazing, bro. I love the slider video." Oh, thank you. I'm glad that people are still enjoying that video. I think I still get comments on it, and I'm just like, oh damn, people still watch that. I think it was like almost 2 years ago that I uploaded it. Or like 1.5 years. I'm like losing track of time. Also, his head feels like close to the upper frame. Yeah, the framing could be adjusted a little bit, because usually we want to line it up with the thirds, right? Rule of thirds. This is just slightly above, but honestly, I would prefer this than it being slightly below. Really, there are different, I guess it depends on the trend, but a safe thing to do is just follow the rule of thirds. But yeah, thanks again for submitting your work, Max. Let's move on to Jant. Philosophy's most dangerous idea, an experimental project. I could have sworn, oh yeah, okay. I was like, why does this video feel familiar? And I think I watched it during the edit together. So there's a voice channel where we can edit together. That's one of the things that I've been doing for the past few months. And I wish I was in here a little more often, but I only edit for like a portion of a month really. And sometimes I gotta like really lock in. Like the past couple of days, I didn't join this because I really needed to get this next YouTube video pushed out. And I think they shared their work in the chat. So I'm glad to see it in the work review stream. So their feedback focus is, I need some suggestion on the pacing and what I can improve from here. What new experiments would you suggest for me to try? I think my design and typography is not that good and I should work on that. But in terms of pacing and overall flow, how do I get better from this level? This is an experiment. For the context, this is an experimental project and first in the style I ever made. Dude, this is the first time that you've done this style. You did a solid job, if I recall correctly. Like, you did pretty good. I focus majorly on pacing, rhythm, and storytelling. I've been in tech for a while, but wanted to change the niche to something more creative, conversational, and intentional. Dude, this next YouTube video that I will be uploading next week and that I am like slaving away at right now is specifically for any editor that is trying to pivot styles. The title of that video will be called, I always do a little preview. How to edit, my next video is how to edit any video like you've done it 1,000 times. Working title, I don't know if this is the final one, but basically it's my approach, the way that I can basically be a bit of a chameleon in how I tackle on the challenge of trying new styles and genres, even if I've like never done it before. So major props to you for experimenting and trying something new. I know how hard that can be, but let's check out the video.
When we destroy everything.
It's only like a minute long. We got Tommy Does. Whoa, dangerous. Look out, Hermie. We got Tommy in the chat. Tommy simply does everything, as his name implies. So huge shout out to him. He is the one and only mod in our server. Right there. There he is. And he's also the editor of our lessons, our Kaizen lessons for Patreon members in this server. Yeah, glad that you are here joining us. Edit by Muzzle, love from India, love back from Canada. Welcome in, Edit by Muzzle. Cozy says, does it have to be talking head? Because mostly I edit like movie montages like Hudson Films. No, there's no restrictions in terms of what creative work you want me to review. But I will say, like, as usual, I come from the lens of like general filmmaking and video editing. So if you submit something that is like out of my genre that I'm used to, then I'm not necessarily an expert. Like I'm just sharing my thoughts. So, but I welcome any creative work. It really doesn't matter. Like we've had all sorts of stuff. We have like SaaS type motion graphic videos. We have AI short films. Like as long as it shows that you're creating, keeping those creative juices flowing. By the way, the slider video was just 8 months ago. Oh my God, it was 8 months ago. Why did I think it was 15 months ago? I'm losing track of time. I don't know what's going on. Love from Ethiopia, if you know the country. Yes, I know the country from Ethiopia. We got people all around the world. We have people from, we have someone from, well, just recently, Edit by Muzzle from India. We had someone from Madagascar. And we got someone from Ethiopia. We got Code Realms. Sorry if I say your name wrong. I love your sound effects video, talking about how videos can get better with sound design. Nice. Oh, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad a lot of people seem to enjoy it. The original sound design video is very close to hitting 1 million, but I'm about this. Oh my God. Wait a second. These are like neck and neck. I always thought this was going to be my first milli, but this is getting real close. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Let's review your work. I'm so sorry if like you're watching this later or you're tuning in and you're like, Herman's getting to my video, and then I'm like just chatting with viewers. All right, I promise to watch it now.
When we destroy everything, what do we have? This is one of the many ideas explored in the works of Friedrich Nietzsche. The answer he once supplied to this question was the Übermensch, the man who is greater than mankind, the next evolution of the human race. The concept of the Übermensch has been studied, interpreted, and manipulated over and over. It is almost impossible to distill effectively into a single sentence. The Übermensch is both apocalyptic and aspirational, both dangerous and comforting. If nothing else, it is powerful. For those feeling like they are lost in the forest of life, Nietzsche's Übermensch can provide, if not an escape route, some direction. That direction is to be fiercely, belligerently, violently independent. To truly be your own individual in a world so ready to crudely thrust every human being into some pre-existing classification.
Thick edit. I enjoyed it. Short and sweet, and as I said before, like, if this is your first time doing this style, I thought you did an amazing job. Like, especially this. I really love this graphic over here. It does have a bit of a, I don't know how to say this without it sounding potentially offensive. And I don't mean it that way. It's just like it feels Pinteresty, if that makes sense. Like if I were to look for this grungy graphic style sort of thing, I would expect it to look something like this. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I just think that it's on trend. So if you are being hired to create videos like this for a client that's looking for this kind of style, then I think you are, dude, you're killing it. Like, I love the different texts and the little details that are coming out. I love this kind of like collage type of effect with the mixed media. Like, I'm a sucker for this kind of style.
Next,
And also like the
then
build up as well.
it was great.
I think you've got a sense. I think you've got like a good eye and a good sense of like how to build up before the big reveal. Because some people might just like cut to this and just hold on to this for like 5 seconds, but you did close-ups to give a sense of mystery and to build up these little detail shots. So we've got little bits and pieces before that release and that feeling of how would I say it? That satisfying feeling of like, oh, this is the big picture. So the way that you're building things up is working really well.
In the works of Friedrich.
And I just like how experimental it is and all this cutout stuff. Like it just keeps it really engaging. So I do think it starts to taper off a little bit near the second half of the video. The first half I thought was really good. Second half was still good, but I think it started trailing off a little bit. I think there needed to be something to like snap my attention back in. And maybe it was just like the monotone voiceover, or maybe it's because the music is like looping and then there's no like shift in the tone or like an impactful moment again in the later half. Because in the first bit, I think there was a little bit of like negative space, or like there was a sound effect that like brought importance to the word Ubermesh, I think.
What do we have?
What do we have?
This is one
So you have this moment to like let it breathe, and it's just like it gives a lot of weight to this question. And then there isn't that kind of moment again, and I feel like there could have been moments where it's just like something they said again is important, and we as the viewer need like 1 more second or 2 to digest that question, because it is like a deeper philosophical kind of like question that we should ask ourselves. And
hour.
having a little bit of that, I think, will keep it feeling engaging. But overall, I think good clip choices. I think there's a lot of great creative decision like choices that are
Has been studied.
working quite well.
Nietzsche's
I do think this dragged on a little bit too long, but
violent.
still love the clip selection. Yeah, that was a solid edit. Nice job. What do you guys think in chat? I'm like a sucker for like experimental stuff, so this is right up my alley. Tommy says, how do you like the new in-ear headphones you have for stream versus the old over-ear ones that you had, by the way? There are pros and cons to both, and I'll talk about it in a future video coming up sometime this year. But I don't like how I keep having to adjust it, sort of. Like, I feel like it wants to fall out of my ear, even though it's supposed to kind of like keep in place with like the loop over. I also don't like things necessarily being in my ear, but the reason I got this is because I don't want over-ear headphones over my glasses that will clamp on my glasses, and like basically it's like crushing my skull, and I have to switch glasses every time I wear my over-ear ones, which is why I got these in-ear monitors headphones. And I also like that it's not like clamping onto my head and my hair, because it starts feeling very like sweaty, especially in the summer. Like right now it's 33 degrees on my thermometer. Like if I wore those in-ear over-ear headphones, I'd be like sweating like crazy. Marwan says, by the way, love from Libya. We got someone from Libya as well. All over the world. Edited by Muzzle says, how can I put my video so you can see it? 15-year-old filmmaker, by the way. Sweet. Well, I have this button over here that will link to the Discord, and when you join as a member and get the review ready role, if you get that, I usually make an announcement once a month near the end of the month, where I open up this channel for you to submit your videos. Unfortunately for today, I've already closed it, so I'm only reviewing the work that has already been submitted. But I do this once a month. Hennigan says, love this style. Yeah, love it too. Oh, new video alert. Oh my. Yes, indeed. RiverX says, you review Spanish content? I review videos of any nationality, of any language. It doesn't matter. But you can't blame me if I don't understand. If there are no subtitles, I will watch it and critique it from a video aspect. But like, if you're like asking me, hey, my feedback focus is on the script, like I'm not gonna be able to do that. But otherwise, I'll take anything. Moving on, we got Hanika. Hey, you're just chatting, saying that you love the style of the previous submission. Thanks for staying all the way until here, at this moment of the work review, to finally check out your work. And thank you for using the template as well. Yeah, look at that. Link to it, feedback focus, context. You're on it. All right, so your feedback focus is on storytelling and emotional impact, followed by editing. So pacing, color, and sound. Context. Imperfect is a personal series about the things that hold us back. Perfectionism, procrastination, fear, comparison, and all the other little flaws and struggles that get in our way. I'm exploring them through my own stories, the goal of making people feel understood, entertained, and hopefully a little more motivated to move forward. Nice. I love the intention of the series. Let's check it out. All right, so it's a series, but we'll watch your latest video. I wasted 5 years making this video. Oh, I wonder why. It's a curiosity gap there. We got Ketsurio Zero. Sorry, I said your name wrong. Yeah, I just bought the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. What do you think about that? Cam, I got the creator combo. I'm unfortunately not answering any questions in chat that are not very quick to answer. But I will say I like my Osmo Pocket 3. My partner gave it to me and I've been shooting on it more. So I think it's solid.
What if the perfect moment never comes? I wasted 5 years of my life waiting. It became a habit.
Dude, this video is so high effort. I just want to commend you for that. Like the clone effects and all that, and like the Dutch angle, and like I see the creative sauce and the creativity and all the work that goes behind this.
And every time I say the same thing.
Got little chapter markers. Nice. Very Gox inspired.
I loved making videos. And it all started with this. 5 years ago, I started to share my work on social media.
A little bit of history, some context,
And people kinda liked it.
some good inserts. I like these little close-ups.
I was just getting started. But then, life happened.
Also a lot of dramatic trailer choices to make it engaging and cinematic.
Once I got this, I'll take video seriously. Then I started
Nice.
working.
I like that moment with the text to answer.
Once I have free time, I'll take video seriously. And yeah, I was working full time at that point. And then
Cool little match cut sequence showing a passage of time in slow shutter.
for the first time in years, the path seemed obvious. No more classes, no more deadlines. I finally had time. This was it. The moment I've been waiting for.
Very nice.
Just other creators. And
I like that build up and that little
I
kick,
should be doing that.
little punchline.
But I need a better camera and a mic and lights and
Nice. Typical excuses that are
I kept
illustrated very well visually here.
But honestly, I think I was just scared. And I
That was a
realized
nice solid review.
there will always be an excuse. I could wait forever and still find a reason not to start. So I wrote a script, an imperfect one. Grabbed my camera and just filmed. I kept waiting for everything to make sense before I started. But things can only start making sense after we begin.
Yeah, today. Let's go. Dude, this is solid. This is really good. I'm like, I don't even know what else to say. Well, I thought it was a great video. As I said in the beginning, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of creativity involved. I think the execution was great as well. There's a good amount of inserts that really convey the message that you're trying to get across. I think there are a lot of beats that you hit that felt satisfying. Nothing really fell out of place to me. Yeah, I thought it was really good. What do you guys think in chat? If I were to try and pick out something, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are working, and I also really enjoyed this little reveal of like perfectionism, and then folds up and it's actually fear. Like I thought that was a really creative decision. I really like these very like concept heavy videos, I guess, with a very simple through line as well. Like your personal journey was easy to follow, follows that typical formula, that storytelling structure that all makes sense, and it's all relatable as well. Like any creative that has ever procrastinated because of perfectionism or whatever plethora of reasons to stop them from creating, like I'm sure that this resonates with them and it resonates with me. And I think the message got across really clear and artistically. So there's nothing else I can really say. I think the lighting was pretty good as well, especially for stuff like this kind of like 3/4 angle. Trying to see if I can stop.
5 years of my life waiting. It became a
There's a lot of good depth. Using like practicals as well. Like
habit.
honestly, the only thing I would say is just like just keep creating, just keep doing more of this. I think it's one of those things where you improve over time with more experience, the more videos that you create. Just I know it's a really cop outy type of answer, but if I were to really pick something, like nitpick something,
I finally had time.
I do think that it was a little on the nose in some decisions like this, when you're saying you finally had time and you're circling time. I think there are probably other ways to convey time, like maybe a shot of like that hourglass with like the sand, like this again, or that might even be too on the nose. I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head, but maybe, yeah, I don't know. Just any other way to convey time other than literally showing the word, I think would have elevated that a little bit more. But there's plenty of things that I think were working, as I said, plenty of things I loved, especially this as well. Big build up before releasing that tension, hitting that punchline without explicitly saying it. You're relying on text to do it, which gives it a much more interesting delivery. So Umbrella says, dang, you even got the square dimensions. Yeah. Patrick Casella says, really like this. I think the editing isn't bad. Biggest upgrade would probably be the lighting and cinematography. Yeah, I think that's one of those things that like could be improved. I think it's solid already, as I said before. But lighting can always be improved in any video, really. So I think other than maybe like thinking about shots that are less literal to your script, lighting is a good next step as well. And lighting is hard. That's why I didn't really want to bring it up, because it's not an easy thing to be a next fix. But if you just experiment with lighting and cinematography a little more, then that could be the next step. Like some of this could feel a little flat, but there's still depth in this, and I think it's just like using a wide angle lens that's really helping, doing a lot of the heavy lifting for making this making the compositions look interesting. So good on you for using that. So good. I could never. I'm sure that any person that you have watched, including me, that has started out, has said the same thing, but they've accomplished it, so can you, and I truly believe that. I'm at Design says that was pretty neat. Definitely pretty neat. More than neat. Henika says thank you for the feedback. Thank you for submitting your work. Thank you for sharing your work. Cinematic masterpiece. I agree. Good stuff. All right, moving on. We got Nick. Nick has submitted a post saying strings cut, giving a link. Feedback focuses on the emotional impact, pacing, sound, visual clarity. Context: this is a personal portfolio project designed to catch the attention of trailer production companies. I want to create an unusual sizzle reel by taking clips from 107 different movies and piecing them together into a cohesive, abstract narrative using strict center framing and continuous match cutting. Oh, this sounds like it's going to be good. Nick, you have you've set a bar for me, or you've set like an expectation in my head now. But I will try and keep in mind the whole emotional impact, pacing, sound, visual clarity. And guys, let me know what you think as well. Check it out. A lot of action match cuts, just like that flip just now, that are pretty satisfying. I know that stuff isn't easy. Nice. Nice strong way to end it. Literally ending with a bang. Oh, got a little bit more. Oh, we got a little snap at the end. That's that little audio motif that has been occurring throughout the video. But yeah, that was solid. Just like the AMV videos, I think when it comes to editing and stuff like this, like I think it's called like source farming or like finding the right clip. I don't know what the terminology is. Like I think that really requires sorry, I got distracted by my cat. Requires like a good eye in terms of like finding the right moments and making sure they play well with other clips and making sure that they're satisfying when you put them together. And there are some good moments in here, but I'm going to give you my honest opinions about certain things that I think would improve this little sizzle reel. Some of the match cuts, you're using graphic match cuts like this, where the circle is this big. And this is working out quite well because it's filling up the frame a lot. There were some match cuts where I felt like, for example, the falling bit is good because they're all falling. So there's a through line that is tying these shots together. But because I'm expecting sort of like, how would I say it? Also a graphic match cut, my eyes don't feel like they're following the flow in a satisfying way. And I don't know how to really explain that other than like, I expect this to be like, you know, this is kind of like a full body shot. And then this is like a medium close up. And then we're going back to medium close up. And then there's another falling of like a full body. So it's just like, I would have just stuck with full body and not cut to the medium close up. And then like you're going back out again and that starts feeling jarring. So there are some moments like that that kind of took me out a little bit, and a little bit of cropping can help with that. I think it's more forgivable in like anime music videos because like you could scale up to 3D animation and 2D animation and it'll be fine. But like, I'm sure that you're trying to stay faithful to the movies and not manipulating them too much. But I think that it's working against you in some of these. For example, this hugging. So it's a close up and then it's like a wider, like a cowboy sort of thing. And then it's just like my eyes are not in the center if that's the intention. So moments like that are a little jarring, but like for example, this is really solid. Like your high angle shot, like I'm staying over here, that's where the eyes are. And then my eyes aren't in the middle anymore, and now it's just like harder to find what the focus is. So that's something to be careful of. But otherwise, I think that, you know, how to say it? Like the efforts are conveyed, or how to say it? I can feel the efforts of your work is what I'm trying to say. And the amount of patience that I took to find these correct clips to try and like find the actions that can be match cuts. It's just like, this is such a detail-oriented ambition that those little things will help with it feeling polished. And I also think one last critique is the whole snapping thing was really annoying as the viewer. And I'm sorry that I had to put that very harshly, but it really took me out of it because I just kept thinking like, we did not need to keep seeing that. And maybe is this like, I'm assuming it's like a username or, you know, IG handle or what you want to be known for or your company name, but like, I don't need to be reminded this several times in the video. We could have just ended that with the final snap and it could have been match cutter, but having it like through the video does not do any favors in keeping the viewers immersed. So just something to be careful of. But overall, still thought it was a solid job. So thank you for submitting your work, Nick. Even Fabi thinks it's sick. Yeah, Henika says, nice edit. Can't imagine how long it took to find clips. Same. Like, so much time must have went into finding the right clips from movies. Like, you'd have to watch through the movie and be like, hey, I could use this and organize it. Like, man, organizing shots and finding the right clips is like an entire own art form. No way I would try and find all these clips. Would be full of boring AI clips if I did it. Yeah, there's a lot of patience that goes behind it, which is why it's just like, I can tell there was a lot of effort and patience behind this piece. I'm a designer says, yeah, some match cuts aren't as cohesive as they should be. Yeah, and I think that just kind of comes with practice, but that was my best way to really articulate it. So hopefully you took something away from my sloppy feedback. But yeah, I think that's definitely, yeah, those things that are shared will definitely elevate it and help it feel polished. It's just being detail oriented about like, where are the viewer's eyes supposed to be? Because if the intention again is to stay centered, like, unfortunately, it was not very centered for me. All right, moving on to our last submission. Psycho Netty. Just a quick note, I'm new to editing, so please give me all the constructive criticism possible. I'm eager to learn. This is a bounty video for a project. And I shot this alone. Light's not the best, and just my phone's camera, so arigato. No problemo. So I'll just give some generic or like general feedback, just whatever comes to my head as I watch it. Oh no, I want to hear the video, but I need to like log in apparently. Do I just have to log in to watch this video? Is there another link that I can watch this so I don't have to log in? Because I don't think I even have Twitter. Or I do, but like I don't even remember my login. So if you're around and you're here and you're still in the chat, please drop me a different link that I can actually watch it in. I've reviewed Twitter videos before and I didn't have to log in to hear the video, so I find that kind of strange. I'm gonna try it one more time. I mean, I could sign in through my email, but I'd rather not. So let me know if you're still on this in the stream, and just drop a link. Maybe like a YouTube link or Google Drive or Vimeo, preferably. Yeah, sorry I can't watch it right now. Unless you want me to watch it and you're in this chat and you don't want to upload it and you want me to watch it without sound. All right, let me give another link. Okay, sweet. We'll wait for that. But yeah, you're the last submission. So we are at the 1 hour 21 minute mark. So let's chat a little bit while Psycho is giving a different link. I keep forgetting to use, I gotta get used to using this Stream Deck type of thing where I can click a button instead of having to use my cursor like a peasant and moving it all the way over to OBS and switch my scenes. But yeah, what do you guys think about the work so far? Yes, Instagram is okay. If it's on Instagram, then I should be able to play it just fine. I'm a Design says, just a question. In the meantime, How many hours can you edit without taking a break? I don't really know. I think it depends. Depends on the day. Sometimes it can be like hours, but I always try to make sure that I take breaks, so I'm not gonna like burn myself out and like burn my retinas. Edit by muzzle, can you review mine too? Unfortunately, I'm still gonna keep it closed, just to keep it fair for the people who were able to submit it on time. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be, you know, taking in submissions as people ask, and I don't think that would be fair for the members. So there is always, again, next month. But yeah, Psychos will be the last submission, and thankfully, they have dropped an Instagram link. Check it out.
Imagine you find a trader online who's actually really good. You want them to manage your money, but there's one problem. Would you actually give them your money? Because once someone else has control of your money, you're basically trusting them to do the right thing. Trust them not to disappear. Trust their numbers.
It's cute.
Trust that they'll actually let you withdraw. And honestly, that's a really big ask. This is where FBYT comes in. FBYT lets traders create what's called a vault. Basically a digital investment pool where people can allocate capital to their strategy. But here's the important part. Your money isn't simply handed over to the trader. It's controlled by smart contract rules on Solana. The manager can trade the capital according to the vault rules, but they don't get a magic button that says send everyone's money to my wallet. Investors can also see the vault activity.
I feel like I need to be in this space to understand the jargon.
I actually tried. First, I created my own vault. The process was pretty straightforward. You just select create vault, then input the necessary details from image to name and the bio, and approve the transaction. It takes a little fee to create.
But I do like how clear and step-by-step the process is.
Section. I picked the vault that felt comfortable for me, inputted the amount I wanted to invest, and then I clicked and confirmed the transaction, and it went smoothly. Now that's the part I like about FBYT. It's not just telling you what happened. The activity is happening on chain where it can be verified. For traders, it creates a way to build a public track record and manage capital. For investors, it gives them a way to follow strategies without simply handing custody of their assets to another person. And that's what FBYT is really trying to change. Not just how people trade, but how people trust someone with their money. Because in finance, maybe trust me shouldn't be the entire security system.
Nice.
Imagine you find it.
I like the creativity behind this video. I like that it feels very like, how would I say it? Tactile? Like it feels like it's very handmade when you're using these kind of like notepad notes and also playing cards. And I thought this was like
Not to disappear.
a funny moment.
Numbers. Trust that.
And a lot of great ideas in here that keep it engaging. I think what would help, especially for this shot, it's just like there's some lack of clarity in terms of like what I'm trying to get out of this visually speaking. Like we have playing cards, we have like vault in the middle, and then investors like here. There's a lot of visual information here to digest, and I couldn't understand it at first. And maybe I just need to understand this platform in order to understand, but like as a general viewer, I didn't quite get it.
Money isn't simply.
So there's a weird line of making sure that we're not too on the nose with certain ideas, and also making sure that they can be interpreted, especially when the point of the video is more of like an educational video where you're walking me through step by step how to use things. Then we have to, for this type of video and this genre, like clarity is number one, because if the viewers don't understand, then they're out, like they're done with the video. So that's something to be quite careful of.
It's controlled
These
by
clean kind of like motion graphics,
smart contract.
if you did this is great.
Solana.
And it's also a good choice to like understand what is going on over here.
That says
But I know that you shot this on your phone, and I think I'm a really big believer of just shooting with whatever you have, and I'm glad that you did so. But I do think the shaky camera movement does make it feel a little bit like there's a lack of polish to it. So if you can just like set it on a tripod, or
and everyone's money to my.
I mean, in this case, it looks like you set it on either a tripod or your desk or something like that. But like the handheld movements for
This is
that shot is okay, I think. But when we start seeing all this like screen record stuff, and then it goes back to this kind of like, we got motion graphics that feel very like clean,
And that's what
And then it
we
cuts
try
to
really try
a less polished look where
to change.
we see a bit of like camera wiggle that's happening over here. So it's just making sure that your shots are stable. That would be my next step. And then second step might be lighting, which is, as I said before in a previous submission, it's a hard thing to work on, but chip away at just trying to improve one aspect after another and trying out different techniques that you might find online when it comes to lighting to make sure that they still look a little bit more pleasant and professional and clean to match with the aesthetic of the rest of the stuff. But yeah, solid video overall. Clear, concise. What do you guys think in chat? Ketsurio says, my max was 7 hours. Yeah, my spine is cooked. Yeah, I can imagine. I try to take breaks as much as I can, so I don't even know. I think like maybe 2 hours max now before I get up and try and like find what my cat is up to or like get some more water or something like that. Otherwise, there are times where I think it was just like yesterday, I was just like editing and I was so focused. And then I was like, I feel like my back is sweaty, my butt is sore. I looked down at the clock and I was like, oh, it's been 3 hours already. It felt like 15 minutes. And I gotta be careful with doing that. I'm a Design says, do you think it's safe to take editing and graphic design as a serious career considering the rise of AI? I will try to answer that in a concise way, and it is yes. I don't want to take too long answering nuanced questions because I will ramble on, and that's not the point of the stream. But I will take some questions here and there because we have only streamed for about an hour and a half, so maybe I'll do a little Ask Me Anything for like the last 15 minutes or so, since I know some of you have some burning questions to ask. And I never know when I'm going to do an Ask Me Anything. But yeah, like here, let me talk a little more about the whole AI situation. I think that graphic designers and editors have nothing to fear as long as they are not doing it for the sake of quick cash grabs and they're just doing it because they're not passionate about it and they think it's like just an occupation that will be a good way to make a living. I think that is not necessarily the right approach. Maybe in the past that's good. It's a good career, a good niche for you to get on. But now that there are so many passionate creators out there that are willing to do it for cheap or for free, then the competition is high. It is very hard to stand out as a creator and do anything creative, regardless if it's music, editing, graphic design, so on and so forth. But I think at the end of the day, if you're passionate about it, you're excited about it, you can absolutely pursue it and consider it as a career. Like, I don't think it was practical for me to go into video producing, filmmaking, and all that stuff. But I did it anyways, because I think it was something that I saw myself being consistent at. And if you can see yourself being excited about doing it, and there are reasons for you to remain passionate about it, then absolutely. Because I think the best way to really make a living doing what you love in some sort of creative field is to really be, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but be more excited about it than everyone else. That's your creative edge. If you're willing to always learn, if you're willing to always upskill and improve yourself and really feed your inner artist and keep yourself passionate about it and make sure that the work side of things doesn't like destroy you or burn you out, then absolutely it can be a serious career to consider. But is it an easy one? Absolutely not. I think a lot of us creators suffer for our work. People who are staying up and editing max 7 hours, like Ketsurio over here in the chat. Like, most jobs you don't have to do that. We got Wudon Wu saying, I love your videos. Thank you. Glad that you do. Design his video as a GF chill. Psycho Nettie says, thanks a lot. Truly grateful. Of course. Appreciate you taking the time to answer the question. Of course. Yeah, there's a lot of, I would say it. There's a lot of good questions out there. A lot of people have been asking specifically in the Discord community, usually in the creative chat, people are asking some questions that are very thought-provoking and they're very important questions to ask as well. But yeah, if you ever want to discuss anything and you want to speak to other like-minded creatives, that's the point of this server. That's why I made this free side, so that people can chat and just kind of like not feel so isolated doing what they do, because I know how isolating it can be to be a video editor or a creative, and it's just like you have all these crazy ideas in your head, and sometimes like when you share with people, they might not understand it, so it's even more isolating, and you're just like hacking away at it like this mad artist. So having people who can resonate with your story and be able to relate to you, I think is really important, and just having a sense of community, which is what the point of this server is. So if you're not already a member in this community, it is absolutely free to join. So you can check it out and join it. If you haven't already, here are the links. Henika says, I'm glad to see that we share the same passion. Magic, filmmaking, and editing. Oh, nice. I already saw you before on Sans Magic in my magician area. Oh, very nice. It's always a pleasant surprise when people point out like, oh yeah, I remember watching your stuff when you were back in Sans Minds. It's like, yep, what a throwback. Man, what an era. It was a good chunk of my career working with Sans Minds. History was in a flow state. I mean, I'm not throwing shade at all. If anything, I commend you for being in a flow state. I think all editors try and reach that flow state and just like lock in to their video, to their work. And I think that's what I try to achieve with all my work as well. It's just uninterrupted work. That's when I think I'm most fulfilled and happy doing what I do. I'm a designer says, oh shoot, I'm gonna join right now. Yeah, it's free to join. There's a free side. There's also a paid side where I share pro lessons that rotate out every month. They're replaced every beginning of the month. And then there's all this other stuff like behind the scenes, curated resources. These are stuff that I watch or I'm learning from, so that you guys can learn from the same material that I do instead of kind of guessing. I think that's kind of important, because like sometimes I'm watching creators and directors that I admire, and I'm like, man, how did they get to that point? Well, they're learning from some stuff, some books. They're admiring other creators. Like, who are they? So there's a kind of like a sneak peek into what influences my work. And then, as I said near the beginning of the stream, I got these rotating lessons as well, and I'll be rotating these out tomorrow, so you won't see these lessons again. There will be 3 new lessons replacing these. Woodan Woo says, how do you find certain sound effects for your videos? Because sometimes I try finding a certain boom sound, but Epidemic Sound and other sites always give me some weird boom effect or something. Yeah, I agree. It is hard. The best way is to, I don't know if there's a simple answer. I think it's just like making sure that you remember keywords that are consistently giving you the results you're looking for. So for example, if I'm looking for some sort of like hit, and I know that I want like a stronger hit, then I'm not going to write stronger hit as a keyword. I'm going to write like slam. I'm going to write like impact. I'm going to write like other keywords that are going to give me heavier hits, maybe like a mammoth hit or something. It's being able to remember those keywords and not only articulate what those sounds actually are, but just like remembering the different words that describe the sound that's in your head, because it can be hard to go through like hit number 31 and hope that's the one, you know? Although that is still what I do sometimes, but it is a trial and error process, unfortunately. I'm gonna Design asks, do you usually edit a project that you're not passionate about? I try not to. That's the reason that I became a full-time YouTuber. I've been a full-time YouTuber for the past 1 whole year now. I think, yeah, 1 whole year. And the reason I pursued YouTube is so that I don't edit videos I don't care about anymore. Because unfortunately, I did take on projects and work on videos that just were hacked away by client revisions, and I felt like there wasn't enough me in that work anymore. And I was like, what am I doing? Is this the reason I became a video editor? Is this why I made videos? And I had this whole like existential crisis where I'm like, why do I even edit? Am I passionate about it? Should I switch careers? And I had this whole video where I talk about, you know, no, sorry. I thought this was the video on as a lesson for my Discord, but it wasn't. But it was a thumbnail that came from a video where I talked about my regrets as a creator and how I almost quit. So yeah. Don't know if that answers your question, but I guess, yeah, I just try not to edit videos that I'm not passionate about. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to do what I do anymore. Wudon's asking, how do you recover from creative burnout? Someone else asked about creative burnout as well. And in terms of the recovery of it, just take time off, take a vacation. I try to remind myself to take breaks, and I'm really bad at that. I keep overbooking myself because I keep being ambitious with my projects, and then scope creep happens. This is actually what's happening to my latest video right now. I think it should have been uploaded like today, but I need to extend the deadline a little bit because I'm just terrible at managing my time, I guess. But what I'm trying to lead to say is like just making sure to budget time to rest. I think that's really important. Having time to reflect, having time to actually think, and not just focus on the craft itself. Because when you do that consistently, I think it's really easy to burn out when there's not enough rest in between. I think that too many creatives, including myself, I've been guilty of this, using hard work and commitment as this like badge of honor and like not resting. It's just like, oh yeah, well, I've been working for like 3 months straight. Actually, no, I've been working for 3 years straight and I haven't taken a single vacation in the past 3 years. Like, that's not a flex. And I think there's some toxic mentality behind that where we're enforcing this overworking culture, especially in a creative field when you may not be paid as much, or you're working on it with passion and then you're being taken advantage of. And then we go into this whole thing of like, yeah, I got to keep working harder. And like, that's the fastest way to burn out. So just make sure to rest and drink water. Next question we have, I think he said he cries and complains to his girlfriend again. There is no joking there. That is what I do. I cry and complain to my girlfriend. She's in the other room. I'll come over and I'll be like, you won't believe what's happening. I'm burning out. I must bawl now. We got Dave. Dave, what's going on? You're tuning into the tail end of the stream. I'm just doing a little short Ask Me Anything since some people wanted to ask me some questions, but we have reviewed the work of our community members. And thanks again, guys, if you're still here and you're part of the community. Thank you for submitting your work. Yeah, I've said this before, but it just like takes a level of vulnerability to like share this thing that you put so much of your effort in and a lot of your passion in, only for someone as ridiculous as me to share my stupid thoughts about it, you know? So always take my feedback with a grain of salt, but I appreciate you guys sharing your work and being willing to accept feedback and to grow as an artist, because, you know, if we don't get feedback and don't know what other people think, then it's really hard because we're just stuck in your head and we don't know what's good or not. So yeah, thank you for sharing your work. Ahmed Design says, I'm kind of in the same boat as you were before. I kind of hate the editing style I do for my clients. The thing that holds me back is that it pays way more than me pursuing my passion in editing style. Yeah. That's the classic dilemma of, do I chase the money? Do I chase the passion? Is there a way to combine both? YouTube was my answer. At least I tried to make it my answer, and I'm still figuring it out. I have figured out more than I have before. I started to take YouTube seriously and really wanted to shape my style into a different direction about 4 or 5 years ago. So I was creating very on and off and uploaded like whenever I had a chance. And every time was an opportunity for me to test different styles and do things that were actually more fun for me. And then I did more money making things on the side. And I was like, man, I still hate the money making things. And honestly, I wasn't even making that much. So I'm like, I need to pivot. I got to do something fast or I'm going to feel like I'm drowning. I'm like drowning in quicksand, I guess. So I really had to reevaluate what my trajectory of my career would be, what my lifestyle would be, what kind of creator did I want to be. And ultimately, it just made sense for me to cash in all the experience that I had when I started YouTube, which was like, yeah, as I said, around 4 or 5 years ago. And I had already been editing videos for like a decade or something. So yeah, started experimenting, tried videos that were out of my comfort zone, started really like working on, I guess, without realizing it, I was working on my own personal brand and building my online presence while I was experimenting. And ultimately tried to go find my inner child again. Just like, what are the things that inspired me to create videos in the first place? Let's go back to that instead of what my client wants or what's trending or whatever. And that's kind of like what I try to do with every video, just going back to the things I'm genuinely interested in and following that curiosity. Otherwise, why? If I really wanted to make money, I wouldn't be like, I'd just be shooting weddings and real estate videos. You wouldn't see me doing anything else. Ketsurio says, sound design is hard. I even made my own sound because I couldn't find it. Gotta do that sometimes, doing Foley. It was like a clap/hit sound, just layered sounds. There's no way to learn it. You just get the hang of it. Yeah, I think it comes with experience for sure. Sound design is hard, and I am not that good at it, if I'm being honest. I know some basic techniques, and people seem to find that helpful when I share it, but I know how difficult it is. Like, that's something that I need to still improve on. A lot of the times I don't, yeah, I'm too lazy to like record my own sounds. I try my best to find them. Psycho Netty says, have you ever stopped editing a video because it didn't play out how you had in your head? I wouldn't say I ever stopped editing a video. I think I just saw it through. Any video that I was just like, it's not really the way that I want it to be, I just like tried to fix it as much as possible, but at the end of the day, I just had to wrap it up. I had to complete it. There's never, excuse me, I don't want to say that I've never like left an incomplete video before, but like I make sure that it's still wrapped, because most of my videos were client videos, and it's not like I can be like, hey, sorry, this is not the way it's panning out that I had in my head, so I'm not going to deliver anything. Like, I had to deliver something. I just do the best that I can. Dave says the FX5 is cool, but it just means the FX3 will be cheaper now. Yes. So if anyone has their eyes on the FX3, get it now. Yeah, it's great for most people. Honestly, like, this is the reason that I do not keep up to date with cameras and equipment anymore. Like, I just don't care that much, because at the end of the day, for me personally, one of the things that I work on for my YouTube videos is storytelling and I guess like editing, and just like finding my voice and further refining that and my style as a creator. I don't really care about equipment anymore. Like, I think it's just a means to execute the vision that you have in your head sometimes, and sometimes there are janky solutions to realize that. And I feel like, especially for cameras, I think we're getting to a point where we're getting diminishing returns. I mean, this FX5 is pretty exciting because like you can shoot internal RAW, but like most people, like for me, like as an example, just like a YouTuber, and I'm not like a dedicated cinematographer, and I know how to color grade ish, sort of, to a okay degree. Like, I don't need RAW. So there are a lot of bells and whistles that just feel very shiny object syndrome-y, and I try not to get caught up in that anymore. But it is still pretty exciting to know, like, oh, what are the new toys that are coming out? Just don't really stay on top of it anymore. So if anyone is looking for like, you know, a solid camera that is older, cheaper now because of the FX5, then FX3, as Dave says, is great for most people. Dave says, I keep clients that don't need a lot of creative energy now, just so I can save that for myself and more high-paying client projects. Yeah, that's a good balance. It's just like, keep only the high-paying ones so that you can basically buy back your time, and also, yeah, as you said, just leave the creative juices, the creativity, so that you can work on the stuff that actually feels creatively fulfilling. Nick says, your sound design always works well, sir. Thank you. Coming from a sound design expert, Nick is a sound design god. So hearing compliments from him about sound, it's always quite validating. All right, I'm only going to answer a few more questions because we're at an hour 46. Actually, I mean, I can stream for a little longer. I just need some water, so I'm going to be right back. All right, I'm back and hydrated. Let's catch up. But I should be wrapping the stream up soon. It's like 10 p.m. over here, and I still have so much work. It is ridiculous. Like I got over ambitious with my latest video, and I gave myself like 60 VFX shots to like accomplish in a few days. And I was like, I can do this if I just sit at my desk. And I did. And I can't do it. So I had to ask for an extension of my deadline, which I hate doing because it shows that I'm irresponsible. So I shouldn't hang around in this stream for too long, but I'll answer a few more questions. Wudon says, have you had a problem where like you edit the sound and it sounds good on your PC, but when the video is played somewhere else on iPad or theater, it sounds so different, like the sound levels sound weird? Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason that you want to watch your videos in different mediums, different devices to play it back and see how it, like how it sounds, how it hears. My God, I clearly need to end the stream more soon because words are not coming out of my mouth properly anymore. Especially now that we're starting these streams later. I took a poll in the server way back when. It's like, oh, what's the time that you guys prefer? 8 p.m. PT. Okay, guys. I'll stream at 8 p.m. for you. So but yeah, I would just play it back on different devices, play it from your phone, play it in your car. I don't know. I think I don't know if this is true, but I remember hearing somewhere where musicians, like people like music producers, maybe Nick can confirm this if he's still in the chat, it's just having like a session where you listen to it in the car or something like that to make sure that it sounds good there, because most people or a lot of people will listen to music in their car, so it's got to sound good where it's being played instead of it just sounding good in the studio. That's the point I'm trying to get across. So this is the same idea for your videos. It's like, where are people usually watching your videos? If it's on the computer, then like, sure, it's fine. Just cater to what most of the people are watching. It's going to suck if they listen to it through a potato, but most people are not going to listen to a potato. So it's just, yeah, you can't please every device. That's why I'm not too picky and scientific about color grading. Like I try and do my best job, but I know that every monitor that's watching my video is not going to be calibrated the same way. So I just try and make sure that like it looks fine on my phone and it looks fine on my computer and it looks fine on my laptop. And then it's just good enough. I'm a Design says, is there any movies or documentaries that inspire your editing style? If so, which ones do you recommend us watching? Movies and documentaries. Don't watch a lot of docs, but in terms of movies, I used to watch a lot of psychological thrillers. Some directors that I look up to are, like for film specifically, Bong Joon-ho is really good. I love the way that he actually did like, here's a little throwback.
That's what everybody sees.
Way back when I was a wee fresh little YouTuber, I did a director copycat video where I try and copy the style of my favorite director, and luckily I landed on Bong Joon-ho, which is one of my favorite directors, and some of the elements I really enjoyed were like mixed genres, the way he was able to mix different genres in a seamless way, even though it seems like it's just a genre piece, like it's just a thriller, like there are still comedic elements in it. There are like slapsticky moments, even though there are scary moments, and then the way that he could shift those tones so quickly and seamlessly was masterful. Also, his mise-en-scene is really good, the way that he can stage everything in a shot. There's a lot to learn in there. David Fincher is a really great director as well. When it comes to like commercial stuff, I really like Salman Lighelm, and also like Ian Pons Jewell. They're two of my favorite commercial directors. So if you're looking for a little bit of Herman's inspiration, those are a few directors that I really look up to and consistently watch their work. Tristan NC, what's going on? Were you doing solo work before YouTube? Yeah, a lot of solo work. I've been editing for like 18 years now. I know, it's crazy. 13 of those years were professional. Like I started getting paid. And for the first, and as I said before, like I started YouTube I think like 4 or 5 years ago. The first like filmmaking content video that I made was a video where I was like, let's start by teaching everything I literally know about what I learned 5 years ago. So that's when I started uploading filmmaking content. And yeah, prior to that was already doing a lot of projects. Freelanced for a little bit during this era. Before that, I worked exclusively for one company. And maybe the person in chat is still there. It was Sans Minds Magic. That's where a bulk of my work was. We got Dresden saying, "Hi Herman, what decisions are you taking in your commercial work looking forward? Interested to hear your read on our time." I'm not sure if I entirely understood that, but I think you're asking the decisions in what commercial work to take. Is that what you're asking? Or what specific decisions am I making when I take on commercial work? Because I'm not sure how to take that question. Maybe you can clarify. Dave's saying that's a classic problem. Try having a meter on your master as a basic start. Yeah, totally. Gotta watch your meters. We got Fab saying, "Hey Herman, love your job." Thank you. I love my job too as a YouTuber. But yeah, thanks for the kind words. We failed him as a chat. We couldn't find a way to keep him hydrated. No. Maybe I need like a... I guess you can't do it on YouTube, but on like Twitch, you can do like a redeem with points, and you can like remind your streamer to hydrate. A couple of my favorite books were written by another Herman. Oh, that's nice. Herman Hesse. We got Mao Gex. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Used your melting glitch transition on a gaming movie. If you want to see, I can send a link on Discord. Oh, sweet. You can actually share that in this specific channel. You can share your work for other members to see, or you can submit it to the Submit for Live review next month when I do this review, and we can check it out together actually. But it's cool that you use that transition on a gaming movie. I don't think I've heard that being used that way before, so that's pretty sweet. Nick says, "I always listen back to my mixes in the car." There you go, confirmed. Last question from I'm a Design. Before ending the stream, what's a general rule or advice you give for people who want to take editing seriously? Ooh, that's a good one. It's a tough one as well, because there's no simple answer to that. There's one general rule or advice to give people who want to take editing seriously. It would be to remind yourself why you edit in the first place. Very similar to what I was saying about like, can you do like a series? Can you turn editing or video creation into a serious career? It's just like, let the reason that you started editing in the first place be your North Star and keep you going while you're editing. Because I'm sure that the reason that we all got into this creative field is because it's fun. It feels like playing when we're editing. It doesn't feel like work. And that's the reason that I got into video creation. A lot of times I lose track of time because I enjoy what I'm doing. Of course, it's not always that way. There are many aspects that feel like work, but for a majority of it, I think, I forgot where I heard this. Maybe it was Adam Savage that said this, where it's just like 80% of your work, even if you're like doing your dream job or like your absolute passion project, like whatever it is, 80% of it is still drudgery. And it started like to make sense because I do a lot of things that like I don't find that fun, but are kind of like a necessary evil for me to continue doing things for fun. But as long as I get to do that 20% that is like passion filled, and I get to be in that flow state and like just keep editing because I'm excited about it, then that's what keeps you consistent and stops you from burning out as well. So it does a lot of different things, but there's no easy answer for that because everyone can be excited for different reasons. And I'm trying to articulate that for myself lately, I think, because sometimes I do feel burnt out. I'm like, why? What's going on? Like, I thought I'm doing my dream job. I'm living other people's dreams, being a YouTuber. Like, why am I still in this headspace sometimes? And I think that ultimately the conclusion that I came to is that I need to continue challenging myself in ways that are satisfying for me, not just challenging in the sense of like a client gives me a 1 week deadline to like make a banger video for their company or something, and I don't even care about it. That's not the kind of challenge I'm talking about. I'm talking about challenges that make me feel like I'm really closing the gap between where I am now and the work that I admire and from the heroes that I look up to. Like if I can just keep getting closer to that, and also being able to do that in a way where I can share my own perspective and my story and my style and develop that, then it feels like there is more of me in my work, especially during this time where like AI is so prevalent. I guess this kind of ties into the whole like, can you still do like make a career out of this whole stuff with AI? And I think that as long as you bring your own stuff, like your own interest, your own perspective in your work, I think that will provide value and give a meaning to what you do. So I try to remind myself that when I'm creating my YouTube videos. But yeah, I don't know if that's satisfying enough of an answer. Maybe it's a little bit too like out there, but that's kind of what my headspace is at. Nick says headphones test, car test, phone speaker test, earbud test every time. This guy's on it. Gotta make a list. I gotta start doing that for my sound design. Because I do the same thing with like my color grade. I'm just like looking at like my laptop, my computer screen, my phone. I'm like, yeah, it's good enough. And yeah, for sound, earbuds, headphones, and usually speakers, I think. I don't listen to it on my TV because I think most people don't really watch my video specifically on TV. I think there's like a maybe small like 13% that do. The last time I checked my analytics, I'm like, oh, there's actually more people watching on TV than I thought. Dave says, yep, producers often have a lot of different speakers at their studios when mixing, phone speakers, laptop speakers, etc. Yeah. 2 sound design gods in the chat right now, dropping their knowledge, confirming the ways that you make sure your audio sounds good. Because Dave, he is the one that I learned all of my best sound design techniques from. So make sure to check him out, Dave the Greco. We got North Sky Edit saying, would love some feedback, no rush, though love your content. If you have anything that you would like some feedback, unfortunately it will be for next month. Make sure that you join the server if you haven't already. I'm going to paste it into the chat over here. I think it's pasted. And I will open up the work review, submit for live review channel near the end of the month for you to submit your work, and I will do this monthly stream once a month to check out your stuff and watch together. Umbrella says, oh my god, 5 years ago. Yeah, time flies. I cannot believe it's been 5 years since I started really making filmmaking content and giving it a shot. Because yeah, I was making videos for a long time, and people, like friends of mine, would be like, oh, you should start YouTube. As if it's like the easiest thing to do in the world. But then at some point, not at some point, 5 years ago specifically, I was like, I'm gonna start now. Jasmine says, yes, sir. It's an open question, either niche or skill set or network. Whatever you consider relevant since we live in such fast moving times. It's a pretty general question that I don't know if I can give a satisfying answer to, but right now, the original question was decisions on taking on commercial work. I mean, for me, I don't take commercial work anymore. So my thoughts are do as little commercial work as possible. I'm like very bullish and full on YouTube headspace. Like I'm trying to focus on YouTube. I get a lot of opportunities, which I'm really fortunate, by the way, and I feel very lucky to be in the position where I get a lot of people reaching out that are like, oh, help me with like this product video, or like help me with doing this or that and that. And I have to say no to like 99% of them because they don't match with my ambitions of continuing to put effort on my YouTube channel. So I'm very, very picky now. But if you're just starting out, then actually, yeah, if you're just starting out, it's a different story, but it's very nuanced depending on where you are at your stage of career and your creative journey. But I recommend people to just take commercial work that does a few things. Either it pays well, it's an area that you're actually interested in, it's a friend that you can help out with, it is an opportunity to network with other people so that it can bring in future opportunities. Those are some main reasons. We got Roll Bautista 9877 asking, what would be your advice for someone? Excuse me. Oh my god. All the talking is making me want to burp. What would be your advice for someone beginning their freelance editing, video editing career? My advice would be to stay tuned for my next YouTube video, because it will basically answer that. But just to give you a general thing, just follow just keep editing the stuff that is exciting to you. Don't do the things that are just trending unless you're looking to become a commodity in the field, because then you're going to be compared to every other editor who is doing the exact same thing. Just do the things that are exciting to you, honestly. A squirrel says hi. Hello. Best for you saying, yo bro, how are you? I'm doing good. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm actually going to be wrapping up very soon. I said this like 15-20 minutes ago, but I swear I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. Alright, Psycho says, alright, I'm off to go finish another video. No sleep for me, I guess. Thanks once again. Make sure that you get sleep. There's one thing to take away from the stream, it's to make sure that you rest so that you do not burn out. But yeah, thanks for joining. Thank you for submitting your work as well and letting us watch it together and review it. I'm a Design says, thank you very much. It was a great stream. Can't wait for the next one. Nice. I'm glad that you guys thought it was a great stream, that you guys enjoyed it. Best for you says, bro, give some advice. I think I'm semi-pro video editor. Which advice are you... Wait, I'm trying to scroll back to see if you asked a specific question, because I've answered a few already that have to do with video editing. Kessero says, you are very tired, I see. I am tired indeed. So I think we're going to be wrapping up here. I'll answer one last question, and this will be the very last one while I drink some water, because this is the most talking I've done in a while. Unless there is no last question. I do think the last thing that I would like to kind of put some attention on is I recently made a post for the member resource, absolutely free by the way, over here. And I know that making money as a creator or as a video editor or anything is really tough, and I know that's something that I struggle with and a lot of creatives struggle with, not only in my server, but also like, it's just a common problem, right? Making money doing what you love, which is why I made this post on a structure, a framework of how much money to charge for your video editing services. Whether you're starting out or you're semi-pro or you're a seasoned editor, or you're like me, when I was in a point where I was working exclusively for one company and then I jumped into freelance and I was like, damn, I have no idea what to charge my clients anymore because I don't know how to negotiate. I have no business mindset or anything. But yeah, had to start somewhere. So I read a lot of books, I watched a lot of videos on that subject, and I basically summed up a lot of my experience on that side of things into this one Discord post that you can check out. Again, absolutely free. These are things that I think people are like, I don't want to say gatekeeping, but like they're paywalling it and they deserve to make money sharing such valuable knowledge. But for me, sometimes I just want to give that for free because I want to help a community that basically was able to get me to where I am today. Anyways, a little shout out for that if you've missed it. I think it's genuinely helpful. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. All right, here's the last question from, I think it's LlamaFan1. Do you believe that a material can have multiple versions depending on the editor? If yes, how do you avoid getting paralyzed with the decision making? I know you're tired, but this. All right, let me wrap my head around that question. So when you say that when you're asking that, it can have, because like I think videos can have multiple versions. It's more of a practicality standpoint. Like, do you have the time to be able to do those multiple versions and either present to your client or to yourself? If you have a lot of time, then like I would actually encourage to like do several edits to see what sticks the best, because it's through that experimentation usually that you find and sift through your ideas. And really, like, once you try it out, that's when you can decide whether or not it's right and it's actually effective. So yeah, it's like a very broad general answer, but I guess that's the reason that, like, you know, people have director's cuts, right? They have ones that like fit their director vision and ones that fit the client brief. If you were just like one editor, I think is what you're saying, in terms of like having like a video can go a lot of different directions, and I understand that can be paralyzing, especially when you're like, oh, maybe it won't turn out the way that I wanted to in the first place. But really, you just have to try it out, I think. I don't know if that's a satisfying answer, but with the way that I interpret the question, I think that's the best answer I got right now, especially with how tired I'm getting. Still got plenty of work to catch up on after this. But yeah, I think we will be wrapping it up here. Dave says good night. Thank you for joining the stream, Dave. Thank you for dropping your knowledge as well and keeping us company. Beam of Light, hey, what's the time there? It's only like 10:30 p.m., but I still have a lot of work to catch up on. So also, I've been like talking nonstop for like 2 hours. And as someone who is introverted and don't usually socialize a lot, it's taking a lot of energy. Dave says that's a great post, man. Oh, I'm glad you think so. I'm a design says, oh, cool, very helpful. Really appreciate your efforts. Good night. Yeah, of course. Llama fan says, okay, thanks. It's satisfying. Glad to hear that. Katsurio says, good night. Herm, take care. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in to this month's stream. And as usual, I do this once a month. So if you miss out a chance to have your work reviewed for this stream, it's always next month. Just make sure that you're in the server and I will make the announcement. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, yeah, keep an eye out for next week, actually. It's going to be a special week because not only is there going to be a video from my channel, I'm going to, for the very first time, do a collab video with another channel. And I've teased a little bit of this on my IG story and also on my YouTube community post. So yeah, next week is going to be an exciting week. And I can't wait to see what you guys think about those two videos. So until then, see you guys in the next stream.